Hello and welcome to the ThoughtFarmer webinar on how to get the most out of your internet statistics. My name is Tim Scheller, and I've been with Open Road now for about 4.5 years. I've been working with ThoughtFarmer as a technical support engineer and also as a software developer. So today I just kind of wanted to go through some of the best ways to get the most out of internet statistics. This is something that's been a part of ThoughtFarmer since 4.0. But we do get a lot of questions about it in regards to how to use it, what are the best reports in the interface, and that kind of thing. So we really wanted to put together this presentation for you to be able to get an idea on how to use it, as well as how to get do some analytics that maybe you hadn't thought of before. So basically, to start off, I just wanted to do a brief note about PWIC, because I'm going to be using the terms interchangeably throughout the presentation. And basically, PWIC is ThoughtFarmer Internet Statistics. It's basically a client-side scripting package, sort of like Google Analytics. And it's something that we chose because it had a user interface all ready to go. It had a lot of pre-built reports. But more than that, it also was an open source project. So it was something that we could actually go in and make the customizations you see now to have the more internet-specific type of data. So things such as the username, and custom actions such as edits, comments, and creations of content. The other reason we chose PWIC was because it also offered a self-hosted version. So if you didn't want your data to be tracked in our cloud stats server, you could actually host a version of PWIC yourself and be able to track the data there. So everything would be contained on your network. So in preparation for today's presentation, I worked with Brian Robertson, and we came up with a bunch of key metrics. Now, Brian has been with Open Road since about 2007. He's our web analytics and performance measurement expert. And he's worked on a variety of projects with Open Road, some very large ones, and also with ThoughtFarmer INTRANET as well. So I borrowed from some of his material from previous presentations on the subject. And I kind of wanted to do a more step-by-step as to how to actually set those up in internet statistics to get you an idea of actually how to do them and from end to end. So the ones that I kind of wanted to go over today that we came up with are the search term trends, user usage segmentation. Also wanted to go over popular sections and some of the best ways to actually export that data. And also this is one of Brian's favorite features of PWIC is the extensibility offered through goals and campaigns. These features allow you to actually set up custom metrics to be able to track very specific data for your organization. So the first one we wanted to look at was actually the search term trends. Now, search terms in general, the widget is actually just getting a report of what are the top search terms. So how many times are they actually being used, how many users actually use them, and on over how many visits. So it's a pretty basic one if you're looking at it on just a day-to-day basis. But the idea of search term trends is to actually take that data and kind of analyze it over a long period of time. What we recommend is actually do a month range and kind of look at the month-to-month over the course of a year or over the course of the lifetime of your internet and compile that data into a single report to kind of analyze the trends that you see of what people are searching for over a course of time. So just to get an example of how you are actually going to export that data, I'll just switch over to PWIC here. And you'll see here we have the report all ready to go. And what I've done here, if you want to actually do the month ranges, by selecting the month, by default you're always going to get the most recent month. Now if you wanted to do something that's going to give you a more in the past basically, you could now just basically start selecting all of the months of the year. And once you actually drop this down, you see the whole month is highlighted, and this will actually switch me to January. And so I can see January search term data as well here too. Now this, of course, actually also works with weeks, so just keep that in mind. If you're ever looking for a date range in the past, the selector is going to depend on what period you have here. So for our case, we just wanted to look at basically the months. And we would take basically January's data, and we would want to export that. And sorry, I should go over the export options here as well too. When you look down here at the bottom, you'll see we have CSV and TSV. This is comma separated and also tab separated. We recommend this one is already labeled Excel. This is the best one for basically exporting directly into any spreadsheet application, and of course Excel being the best there. The other options you have available are XML, JSON, and PHP. Those are more if you're wanting to use the API to get these reports into an application if you're a developer, that kind of thing. The other one that's actually pretty good to know is the RSS. This is actually something that allows you to take a look at these statistics directly in an RSS feed. So you'll see here that we've actually got all of the search terms based over the last 10 months. So it's going to give you a breakdown like that. So depending on what format you wanted to export it in, you can use one of those options there. But for this report, for looking at the trend data over time, basically just export it to Excel. And so once you actually have it in Excel, you can see it's just brought it up here. It's going to give you each search term, how many users, and how many times it's been searched. And now if you actually export month by month, you can compile this into a single report that's actually going to give you a better view of this. And I'll show you what Brian's done here too. And it's pretty ingenious here. It's essentially it's done the top keywords, done the export, and now this is actually a table from his export. So he's color coordinated them. He's also put each one into their own column there, so you can kind of quickly see there where the trends are. So not only has he put together color-coded the same terms, but like terms. So you'll see expense form, expense report, that kind of thing, all of the same color. And you see here, then you can quickly kind of analyze the trends over time. So we'll see in this example, expenses coming towards the end of the fiscal year, which makes a lot of sense, you see on the rise. Of vacations there has dropped down during May, but comes up again during the summer months. So these are pretty very obvious terms, but if you look at your own internet, you'll be able to find some more ways you can actually get information out of there. And the best recommendation to take action on this is to actually make this content easily available to your users by dynamically changing the homepage. So do some quick links, do an announcement, keep things fresh and easy for your users. So this is one really good way to do that and do it effectively to help people find what they're looking for at the right time. Now the next one I wanted to do is the top user report, and this is something that ThoughtFarmer does very well on its own. But I kind of wanted to bring this to the next level and kind of show you how you can actually incorporate this data together with some other things. So the first thing you want to do again is actually kind of put together this data. So choose the time frame you want to search for. Top users is something you could probably do for the entire length of your internet, or probably just the year. The thing to note, if you're doing very long date ranges, if there's a lot of data there, it might take a very long time to generate that report. So in this case, we're just going to go to visitors, the top users, and we're just going to export this exactly like I showed you before, using the disk icon at the bottom and just exporting for the Excel format. The other nice thing to note actually is the export for this particular report gives you more information. So here you see just visits, views, searches, edits, and comments. But if you actually go to the export, we have a few more. So we actually have creates as well, which is nice to do if you want to segment your users between content creators and content collaborators, and then those people who are just viewing content. So the other recommendation that we have here is to actually apply weighting to each of these, so you can get a kind of a total top user score that is more tuned to what you're actually looking for in a top user, whether that's somebody who's viewing a lot of content, very active in looking around, or maybe you want actually people to, the creators and collaborators to show up at the top. And to do that, you can just apply these weightings like we have here. So in this example, collaborators are going to show at the top. Creation is very heavily weighted. So basically this one here, again, you can see the formula in Excel of how they're actually going to do that. And once you combine that, you can sum the totals for each user and basically put it together just like this to get a new total. And now once you actually have this, you can actually start segmenting this into different groups. So you can basically kind of identify the trends across your organization. So for example, what we've done with our data is we were able to connect it to our HR program and also to figure out where these people are. So we can see that the ThoughtFarmer team is very high on the top user list, and somewhere at the bottom seems to be the developers. So it kind of gives us an idea of who the top users are, segment them out, and take appropriate action to say, oh, hey, what can we do to get this group? It allows you to be a lot more targeted when you're focusing your engagement efforts. You know, are there leaders in particular departments who are advocating better for the internet? And what can you necessarily do to kind of leverage those people to be internet champions for you? The other thing I should note is that you can also do this automatically through ThoughtFarmer. If you have ThoughtFarmer 5.5 and you go to the user management page and do an export, all the security profiles for user information are there. So you can kind of quickly and easily already connect this information together. Now the other one I wanted to go over just really quickly is the page hierarchy, because this one basically is going to show you what the most popular sections are. So if you go through here, the one biggest thing that we find is that when you export this report this way through Excel, it doesn't actually give you what you've drilled down to, because quite often what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open this up and actually drill down to find, oh, hey, what is actually the most popular subsection in here, and go through here and find some more data that way. If you actually export it here, all you're going to get is a top-level view. It's kind of unfortunate that PWIC doesn't support that. But what I've found, this won't work in Firefox, but it does work in Internet Explorer and Chrome, is you can actually just highlight it directly from the web page and paste it in there. So you see this is already exported it pretty much in the format that you want it to look at it anyway. So it's a nice quick way to get that data into Excel the way you've drilled down to it exactly. So one of the little tips that we found there to kind of get the data in the format that you want, because the direct export just doesn't do it for you. So finally, just kind of wanted to move on to the campaigns, which is it's one of those features that kind of allow you to track referrals. So how are users getting to content? This is particularly helpful if you're doing a launch campaign or an upgrade campaign or anything else where you want users to kind of get to a specific page or content, and you want to know how successful is that campaign. We've been asked before, can PWIC do click-throughs? And this is actually how you can detect click-throughs. So if you have a homepage banner that leads to a certain page, you can tell if somebody's clicking on that or if they're actually going through the navigation just by kind of formulating a URL in a certain way. So PWIC doesn't have a campaign creation interface, because basically all of the campaign data is all going to be based on how you formulate the URLs that you're sending out in your campaign media. So for example, we have here just the basic intranet URL. If we wanted to say, hey, let's get everybody to the home page, we're going to fill in the campaign name with these URL parameters here. So PK campaign, it's going to be called get started. And now we actually want to specify the email keyword for that campaign, because we're going to have maybe some email sent out, maybe on another system on your network you have some links as well there too, and you kind of want to find out how people are doing. And of course you can make any keywords that you want for any campaigns, and it allows you kind of segment those campaign referrals as detailed as you want. Now, to set this up, I'll show you what this looks like in Piwik here. I've set this one up here before already, so all it's going to do is basically simple how often it's actually happened. So I sent this out, and you can see that the email was clicked a certain amount of times. The nice feature about this as well too, when you start to incorporate this with the conversion metrics, for the goals, for example. So we can see here that we've actually someone was able to get to the homepage through our campaign, and then from there they went on to do one of our conversions for a specific goal. I'll get into goals in a moment, but I just thought I'd show it to you on this page so you can know that it's there and it's accessible for you. So if we actually wanted to see kind of the more breakdown metrics, this is what it looks like. And so basically we can tell anytime somebody's clicked on one of those specific URLs here too. And if you want a real easy way to actually do this, it's this link right here, the URL Builder tool. So if I just open that up in a new tab here, you'll see that very quickly and easily I can just recreate exactly that URL. So this kind of takes all of the mucking around with it if you don't want to type in everything, and just so it's consistent and it's going to be sure to actually work. So if you want to create a new campaign, it's just simply a matter of creating a new link and attaching keywords to that. And you don't have to attach keywords to it. That's the thing as well too. So if you're just looking for a simple campaign link, then just do that with no keyword, and Internet Stats will start tracking that data. So the final thing I wanted to look at here was actually how to set up goals. Goals is a very powerful part of Piwik because it basically allows you to create your own conversion metrics. Essentially, if there's a URL for it or a distinct page title, you can set up something to look for, edit a page and track that as conversion. How many people are actually editing a page or a specific page, or how many people are editing their profile, or that kind of thing, or downloading a certain document. If you want to know how often a particular action is happening, conversion metrics through goals is the way to do that. So essentially, to do that in Piwik, you can just hit the goals page here, and it will actually give you a goals overview. And to actually create a new goal, say we want to something that that is going to track a specific page, then I'll just go through those steps here. So we're going to create a new goal, and we'll call this View Admin Docs, for example. We want to know how many people are going to the Admin Docs landing page. So this one, what we're going to do is we're going to call it visit a given URL. And so this is going to be a page or a group of pages. And we're going to actually set this up to be the content ID that we have for our admin page. And I can show you that to you on our support site as well too. So ours is content 95 here. So I can just add that in directly like that. And we're going to want this, for this one, maybe once per visit. So as long as they're visiting it once, every time they access ThoughtFarmer, then I'm happy with them tracking it that way, as opposed to, just coming back to it every time, a few times in a visit. So once I have it all set up like this, then I can just simply click Add Goal. And you'll see now it's added it here, this new goal, View Admin Docs. and nothing is kind of happening here. But what I'm going to do now is I'll just reload this page here. And you won't see it right away. Keep in mind that depending on like even if I switch to the day view here, I won't see anything right away, even though that just happened. The reports are basically compiled based on the date range you have here. So if I have a day selected, these reports are only going to be compiled every 15 minutes. If I'm looking at a daily report, it's longer than that. I believe it's about every hour. And the other ones are just done basically every night. But what you will notice actually is if you look at the visitors in real time, you'll see this little green flag here. So it says, oh, there's been a goal converted. And here's my new goal, view admin docs. So if you're setting this up and you're wondering, hey, what's happening? Is this actually working? And you don't want to wait for the report to be compiled, you can just test it right away. And this is the best way to do that, is just to come to the visitors in real time and see, oh, did that get tracked as a conversion? And here you can see that, yes, it did. So this way you can basically start creating your own custom goals pretty much for doing whatever you want. Now the other one that I wanted to look at, because this basically gives you a lot more kind of flexibility as far as custom goals. So if I wanted to add a custom goal, because you'll notice in the interface there was only a few specific options, like a specific URL or a specific page title, that kind of thing. But beyond that, what we're able to do is actually trigger custom goals through JavaScript. So this adds a whole new range of possibilities. So you can essentially attach the JavaScript to any ThoughtFarmer action that you want to track. So for example, update status, maybe add tags. You want to see how often people are tagging. Or clicking favorite or like, or some of these other things. Anything with an action that can be have a trigger added by JavaScript is essentially open game for this feature here. So for the update status one, essentially it's just a matter of putting in a bunch of code like this. So if you're a developer, this will give you an idea of what to do, and if not, you can ask us questions on how to set this up. Because essentially what we're doing is just adding binding an event handler to the status input. So every time somebody updates their status, it's going to trigger this goal tracking. So to actually go to trigger pivot tracker track goal number 5. So if I just go to the overview, and you can see this one here is actually triggered it slightly different. So the update status, instead of actually having it like the other ones triggered when visitors perform a certain action, this one is actually set up so that it's manual. So essentially, if you're going to create one of these, you'll go through the same process, except make sure that you select that manual option there. And then when you actually see the list of them, you'll see here it's like update status with an ID of 2. So this is the number that's important for the code. But essentially, this should hopefully give you an idea of some of the further customizations that are possible with this. So essentially, that basically concludes all of the material that I had for today. And of course, there's quite a few bit more reports that are there, and some of them are pretty generic, and you're kind of able to just get them right out of the box there. And of course, if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us through the help desk at helpdesk.thoughtfarmer.com, or feel free to contact me directly at tim@thoughtfarmer.com. So I hope you've enjoyed today's presentation, and enjoy your day.